to really bother Canelo Alvarez. Alvarez knocked him out with a series of vicious body shots. Amir Khan put up a spirited effort, but was basically too small to threaten Canelo Alvarez. Alvarez knocked him out with a throwaway left jab and a right hand crusher over the top. And then Cotto, in a 12-round loss in Las Vegas, was also probably Roy Jones a little too small to really compete against Canelo Alvarez.
Yeah, he was a little too small, Jim, but the difference is, out of these 5 people, which is the difference in the GGG graphic, 4 of these people were former world champions. No matter whether they're too small or too big, 4 of those last opponents right there we're talking about were former world champions.
One thing about the Chavez fight was Chavez, though he wasn't really a serious fighter on that night, the idea was he could use his size and his infighting ability to get Canelo against the ropes. But afterward, told me in the ring, the reason he didn't was those counters dissuaded him from doing it. It's one thing to do that to dissuade Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. The question was, could Canelo dissuade Triple G the same way? And to an extent, he did. And that is an impressive accomplishment. He is such a great counterpuncher off the ropes that he dissuades pressure fighters from pressing what would otherwise be their advantage when Canelo's back is on the ropes.
And that's also a fact that he's learned from the experience of fighting those world caliber fighters. These guys, like you said, 4 of those guys are former world champions. You learn something when you fight them former world champions.
All right, not on the list, but fun to watch, is a knockout win over James Kirkland that took place in Houston back in May of 2015. Canelo bragged to us yesterday, I did have 2 knockouts of the year. This was one of them, and watch for the throwaway jab and the crushing right hand over the top that ultimately produced the knockdown. That's early power from Canelo in the fight. Kirkland, who was iffy in his preparation sometimes, no telling whether he was in great shape or not for this one, but Canelo Alvarez was completely in command all the way.
You want to make Canelo look like $1 million? Throw him in with a pressure fighter who's just going to give him the bum's rush. Canelo will carve him up. And that's, as I keep saying, one of the reasons Triple G is a little more hesitant than in other fights to simply pin him on the ropes. He does it behind his jab. He tries to apply real skill that he picked up in the amateurs and in Eastern Europe because Canelo is a formidable counterpuncher.
Kirkland had a lot of cojones, as they say. He's willing to keep coming. But Roy Jones, here comes the knockout of the year for 2015. Boom.
Throwaway jab, overhand.
No-hand Wolf in Kirkland's corner that night. He's usually not the same guy without her.
It wouldn't have made no difference, Max.
If you both put on YouTube, you can get like 100 views.
And now here is Canelo against
I wanted to do a video. I just wanted to do a live stream.
This is the knockout of the year for 2016. And if you see a certain familiarity, there's a reason why. In the early going, Khan with his quickness.
I'm gonna start doing live streams like on Twitch.
The most impressive thing to me about this fight is Canelo's much
So
more
I'm
comfortable with fighters coming at him. So he
when we
can
move, we're gonna get like I'm gonna get my own room. So I'm gonna have a desk, a gaming chair, 3 computers,
box Khan in the
PC
middle
like
of the
right
ring.
there. But I'm
I was
gonna
very
be playing on
impressed by the
PS4.
clearly the weight
And then
also played a part.
and then if I get bored of the PS4, switch my I can put my account to the PC and then I play on PC.
Knockout of the year. Roy, what's the combination?
Once again,
I'm streaming right now. Yeah.
Spectacular.
As Canelo throws away the jab, watch out for that right hand.
Better believe it, son. You better believe it.
And just as you saw Chocolatito getting down next to his fallen opponent tonight, Canelo got down on his knees next to Amir Khan, who's a nice guy. Everybody likes him. And now Canelo versus Canelo versus Miguel Cotto. This was for the lineal middleweight championship of the world. After Cotto had had an unlikely run through the middleweight division and had won the title from Sergio Martinez, but Max Kellerman, Cotto was never really a middleweight. They fought this fight at 155 pounds.
But you got to give Canelo credit for winning fights in a variety of ways. Against Amir Khan, yes, he imposed a size advantage, but also boxed well in the middle of the ring. Against Cotto, he really imposed his physical strength and size. Against Golovkin, the counterpunching, right? Against Kirkland, the counterpunching. Here you see Cotto boxing well, but simply being the smaller man, Canelo recognizing that and imposing his size.
The fight went the distance. Cotto ultimately protested the decision, said that he had done a lot better than the judges gave him credit for. We at ringside agreed with the unanimous decision for
You saw that?
Alvarez.
Come on, they were hugging each other.
Liam Smith is always brave, Roy Jones. He was brave against Munguia, and he was brave against Canelo Alvarez.
Yeah, but you never met a body puncher like
Who do you think is going to win this time?
But his bravery cost him because he stood around with one of the best head body bangers in the business.
Much like a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu master in MMA, where you have them on their mat, which is usually where you want someone in a fight, but in that case they have you right where they want you. When Canelo's back is on the ropes and you're opening up, he has you right where he wants you. Like Wilfredo Benitez back in the day, Roy Jones.
Yes, sir. Best defensive fighter of all time, G.
Left hook to the body that finally wrecked Liam Smith. We've seen that reaction so many times from that punch, which I always say, single most valuable weapon in boxing. If you can throw that punch, the left hook to the body, you'll make a lot of money in professional boxing. Chavez Jr., like I say, kicked it in before the fight ever even began. This was no competition at all.
No, it wasn't no competition, Jim, because he couldn't get what he wanted. He thought he could push Canelo against the rope and have his way, but when he pushed Canelo against the ropes, it seemed like he was getting hit more than he was in the middle of the ring. So he quit going and pushing him against the ropes and just started circling him and standing in the middle of the ring.
The guy who could really test Canelo's countering off the ropes is Julio Cesar Chavez Jr.'s daddy, the great Julio Cesar Chavez, who's here ringside calling the fight for a Spanish-speaking network. And Julio Cesar Chavez, when he got you on the ropes, pressed his advantage, was willing to take your shots, and understood the art of infighting. Junior was supposed to do that. Canelo's counters dissuaded him. Triple G was supposed to do that. He did it much more effectively because he's way better than Junior, but still not to the full extent that he had promised, and that's what we're waiting to see tonight. Can Triple G be Julio Cesar Chavez Sr.?
That's a live shot of Canelo Alvarez in his dressing room. Tells you that he's going to be wearing black trunks in the ring tonight. What's the purpose of that particular exercise, Roy Jones?
Well, it's probably loosen up the hips a little bit, Jimmy. Give them that and go up and down the hips so get the hips loose so they can be flexible, because a lot of his defense comes from his hip and his upper torso. So he doesn't use his arms a lot, as much as he does use his hips too.
And just as been the case for most of this week, Canelo Alvarez looks very cool, very composed now as he prepares himself in his dressing room, but he wasn't particularly cool and composed at the weigh-in yesterday. So we're going to take another look at what happened at the weigh-in. If you were with us a little bit more than an hour ago, you heard our two experts reflecting on what they saw, but we're going to do this one more time because this is the event which has dominated news coverage in the last 24 hours coming into the fight. This is yesterday's weigh-in, which took place here in the T-Mobile Arena.
159.6, 159, one half for Triple G.
And Golovkin's behavior at weigh-ins is always the same. Calm, civilized, procedural, never reflects any real emotion in this situation. Normally, Canelo is the same thing, but then this happened.
HBO pay-per-view live from T-Mobile Arena, Las Vegas, Nevada tomorrow night. Mark your calendar.
And Roy Jones, most people on the web are leaping to the conclusion that that had something to do with the social media build-up to the fight and the abuse that's been heaped on Canelo by Abel Sanchez.
I believe that, Jim. I do believe that most of that did have some effect on him, but the thing about it was he was showing Triple G that now it's not about Abel Sanchez. It's about you. How you going to react when I come get in your face. And that's what Canelo wanted to see at that weigh-in.
Some experts see that exactly the opposite of the way Roy Jones sees it, Matt Kellerman, and they think it reflects an insecurity on Canelo's part.
Well, look, at worst, that's Canelo being scared, right? And that's how a scared fighter reacts. But Canelo has not known to be a scared fighter throughout his career. But at best, what it means is that in spite of everything Canelo and his camp are saying, that they're not going to give in to Abel Sanchez's mind games. In fact, Canelo is really ticked off. And that is unlike him. It's one thing if he frequently behaves that way, but he doesn't. He's a much calmer customer generally. And when you see someone behaving in a way that you haven't seen previously, you have to ask, what is different? Why are they out of their game plan? And psychologically before the fight, the answer seems to be yes. Will that extend to the fight? And that's a question we're all interested in.
And he was back to being calm when Max Kellerman visited him in the locker room, or the dressing room, I should say, earlier this evening and asked him about what happened at the weigh-in yesterday.
Canelo, when we spoke to you yesterday, you were as calm as could be in your room, ignoring all the insults from the other side, cool about it. 2 hours later, at the weigh-in, you're flipping out. What happened?
Ahí cuando los tengo enfrente, ¿no? No dije ni una sola palabra, solamente accioné, creo que es una reacción de mi parte y es lo mismo que voy a hacer esta noche. Creo que siempre las palabras salen sobrando, los hechos hablan más que mi palabra.
It was just a matter of fact that I had him there in front of me. I didn't say a word, but I had to act. And as a matter of fact, words don't mean anything. When you make the effort, when you put the effort, your actions show what you mean. And so that's what happened tonight. That's how I'll talk tonight.
That's what you were telling us yesterday. But then given the fact that you did behave that way, even though you're saying their words don't affect your game plan, you also told us you were training for a knockout from the beginning. How do you square those things? How do you reconcile those ideas?
No, como lo dije, tengo estas ganas de noquearlo, este coraje hacia ellos. Lo voy a utilizar inteligentemente, pero por inercia está ahí el coraje, ¿no? Y se va a la pelea. Y creo que estamos a unas horas de ver.
As I said, I'm going to look for the knockout. Basically, I have that anger within me, and I have that inertia. And we're just a few hours away from seeing it.
Isn't that dangerous against a dangerous puncher, an aggressive fighter like Triple G, who would like to lure you into that kind of fight?
Así es. El boxeo es de riesgos, hay que tomar riesgos para tener una diferencia en la pelea y es lo que voy a hacer, voy a tomar riesgos para lograr lo que quiero.
Boxing is about taking risks and making a difference, and that's what makes a difference. And I'm going to take those risks because I want to obtain what I really want.
And that's why we can't wait for the opening bell. Thank you, champ.
And earlier we detailed the bio of Abel Sanchez, who trains Gennady Golovkin. So here is the bio of Canelo Alvarez's official trainer, Eddie Reynoso. It's actually Eddie Reynoso and his father, Chepo Reynoso, who do the training, but Eddie is seen as the lead trainer. Son of co-trainer Jose Chepo Reynoso has trained Canelo for his entire career, going back to when Canelo turned pro as a 15-year-old in Guadalajara. Also worked with Oscar Larios, another Mexican fighter, was a former amateur boxer himself, and currently trains Oscar Valdez, who is an outstanding featherweight boxer in the Los Angeles area.
Let's go live.
And we are here in the T-Mobile Arena, where a large crowd has been assembling for the last hour and a half or so. We did have earlier fights on this card, 3 undercard fights, which took place quite a while ago. And the reason that we have been filling for quite some time is because of the action that took place in those fights. So let's take a look back at them. The first one was the return of Chocolatito Gonzalez against a clearly carefully chosen opponent named Moises Fuentes. Gonzalez was coming back after a long absence following his knockout loss to Suiza Soren Bisa in the second of their 2 fights last year. Roy Jones, how did Chocolatito look?
Well, he looked pretty good, Jeff, for his first fight back. It's been quite some time since we've seen him. Great overhead right there with great body composure in it, so it was a very good shot for him.
That was a knockout win for Chocolatito, exactly what they needed emotionally and mentally. Coming on 2 straight losses for Suiza on the side, we still remain to see whether Chocolatito Gonzalez can become a factor again at 115 pounds. Even you against Spike O'Sullivan, 2